Welcome to the current podcast. It's a sports wave. We got myself in the building, Byron. We got Mauricio in the
Was good,
building.
was
We
good.
got Enzo in the building. Well, actually, he's via Zoom. And then
Yep.
we also got Manny
But
via
but
Zoom.
pero no quiere enseñar la cara, so it's alright.
How you guys doing today after the holidays? How's your guys' holidays?
You know, it was cool. It's cool. A little busy for myself, but also sad as a Laker fan because another Christmas day gone wrong for
Yup.
Lakerland.
Yup.
And obviously we have COVID and all that stuff that's affecting these teams. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I mean, I remember even there was Christmas games where even Kobe was playing, where he was balling out, but the team just wasn't with him. And they lost some games. I remember there was a couple games when LeBron was in Miami, and actually the Grinches actually came out, and Kobe was out there playing in those Christmas games, balling out. But sometimes it's just LeBron got the better of him. But ironically, LeBron just passed him on the all-time scoring for Christmas Day. Just past Kobe Bryant. So yeah, that's what happened right now. With the Lakers, for this go around of Christmas
Oh,
Day.
really? That happened in the past game? This past game?
What happened?
And LeBron passing Kobe?
Yeah, he passed Kobe in the all-time scoring.
Sick.
Yeah, so that's what it was there, and yeah, like also with the Lakers, they also had a lot of like most teams right now in all sports, they're also dealing with COVID protocol and players getting tested positive, stuff like that. And one player that they had to pick up was Darren Collison that played actually on Saturday for the Lakers. I think is Isaiah Thomas on the squad or his 10-day
It's up.
expire?
It's up. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
expired.
So this is what's having happen
Nope.
right now in the league. Joe Johnson played for the Celtics also. Uh, you know, older vets that I've heard that are reaching out to Doc Rivers that want to come in and get a 10-day. Yeah, and he was playing in the Big Three, Ice Cube's league.
That's right. That's right. It's true.
Yeah, I can see that.
Wait, is that league still going on? Oh, so. Oh, it was cool. It was cool seeing him back out there.
Yeah, and then the Knicks were able to beat the Hawks.
Yeah.
Damn, the Dolphins defense shines on Monday Night Football. Ain't that
Gotta
some
give him
shit?
credit.
But yeah, Kimba was there.
Yeah, so and for those of y'all
So
that might just
isn't he trying to get out of the Knicks,
the Knicks are trying to get rid
I'm
of
not
him.
sure.
It's kinda
or the
more
Knicks
like
are
Why?
trying to unload him?
Yeah, kind of something like that. But one thing I'm gonna have to just point out, yeah, we're not all in studio today. We have some of the guys via Zoom like Enzo and Manny.
I mean, there's a COVID protocol right now. Just like in the NBA, man, we got hit by the bug. So just
Exactly.
COVID protocols, man. Just
Yeah, it'd be like that. So that's why you're seeing us like this today. But that's not gonna stop us from keeping on going, especially this last episode of the year. Um, it's kind of crazy, but talking about the kind of bringing it back to the
forgive
NBA.
me if you hear my children crying and screaming.
Right? Bringing it back to the NBA and all that. What do you guys think about the Lakers actually making the playoffs this year?
I mean, they
Dismal.
already went under 500. They're still, I think, in seventh place though.
It's very early in the season, but it's looking dismal.
No, I mean it's not.
I mean,
For me,
even
it's
if
no
they
longer
made it
early
to
in
the
the season.
playoffs, I don't think that they'll make it to the finals.
No, and I also feel like it's a good chunk now of the season now, and we've had a pretty easy schedule, even before all this COVID protocol stuff was going on. Like, it really puts into question, with what's gonna happen with this roster. Is management and LeBron, gonna get players traded at the deadline. Enzo, you posted something about
Russ might be going. I mean,
Enzo.
did you see the whole thing of how he was upset that the pressure he has from the media,
I
to
mean,
play
given. I
one way,
mean,
play a
you're
different
the
way,
highest paid Laker right now, so I mean, you're getting paid for that. So
He's what?
honestly, he's the highest paid Laker right now. So he shouldn't. The pressure should definitely be on his plate at some point, especially when you're scoring triple doubles. We're going 4 for 20 from shooting. Russell Westbrook, for example, Enzo posted something this week where he posted how the Lakers are guarding him when they won the championship, and it was like they're letting him shoot. They gave him so much space, and that's who they went after this summer, and it starts to put that into question. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing, without having to blame Russ or Anthony Davis or any of these guys, it's at the end of the day, man. The Lakers just can't get stops. You cannot stop their opposing team for
Can I interject before you even start with the stops? I feel like to get stops, you need to be healthy. And to begin the whole season, bro, we never had a healthy team to begin with. Ariza was out, Monk was out. I mean, none never even hasn't played. So the Lakers never had a healthy team to even contend and put their best foot forward to
a
be
minimum
like,
of
yeah.
2 stars on the team, and against teams like OKC that we should have beat them twice, against teams like the Spurs that we just lost to, against like teams like the
Kings.
The Kings.
Like those are the games that for sure the Lakers should have winning, should have won.
Comfortably win.
Would you put the Blazers up there too?
Especially when you still have like the Blazers, they're like a mediocre team right now, so you should be able to beat them too. But they have a player that can just cook up at any moment in Damian Lillard. And when you have, and I feel
Damian Lillard historically is always known to play well against the Lakers. Also,
especially here
a
in
lot
LA.
of teams,
a
lot of players.
But at the same time,
Michael Gill, with the guy from OKC, always balls against the Lakers.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
Yeah,
but at the same time, we've had until right now, we had a healthy Anthony Davis, we had Russell Westbrook on the court, we've had LeBron on the court, and the Lakers have just not.
Anthony Davis hasn't been healthy all season. I mean, you could tell by his style of play. And now he's
been healthy. He's just recently got.
We're in different times. Look. We're in different times, and players now can say that they're not healthy because of mental health, and that shows with his level of play. He's not confident. He's not playing the same way they used to. So it might not be a physical anguish, but it's definitely a mental thing. That's it's giving them issues that you can't produce like you used to.
I mean,
but
I really don't think it's a mental thing because he's still averaging around the same amount of points. His 3-point percentage has gone down, but that's because he put on 30 pounds.
And
his free throws were bad.
His field goal.
But I'm saying how many points he's averaging per game is still what Anthony
even
Davis
under the
gives.
basket,
You know what I mean?
He was missing. Bro.
But what I'm saying is that right now he's put on 30 pounds to bulk up and to be that, and I think that's what's affected his shots. But he's still getting his average pretty much on each game to game. But I just really pointed to the fact that they're dropping these games against these no-name teams, and I get it. These teams are gonna come play against the Lakers and all that stuff, but it's like you're still the Lakers. You're still Anthony Davis considered to be one of the best big men out there on a healthy night, and he's been healthy, like I said. Recently, he hasn't been healthy. Yes, he has. Dog, he just recently went down with what he had, but as of the rest of the season,
before then,
playing.
Bro, there was times where he was not playing because of a stomach flu. He would play. Like game time decision, bro. Anthony Davis hasn't played every game in the season. A player that to me that's healthy is somebody that had probably missed 1 or 2 games. Anthony Davis has missed multiple games all season, so I don't think he's a healthy player at all. Not even durable at that point, So it's like, and then that's our anchor on defense. So to go back to the question you asked, if we're going to the playoffs, not with that as our anchor on the defensive end. You feel me?
Valid point.
Even LeBron has been not that healthy either.
He hasn't been healthy, but he's dropping 30 a game in the last 10 games.
Yeah, but it's like he can't just do it solo, man. I mean, he doesn't have a good supporting cast.
I mean, the supporting cast is there. I just feel like it's a health issue that they're not healthy,
and that's why you think they're not producing.
Yeah, bro. Because
so out of 34 games that the Lakers have played, Anthony Davis has played in 28 of those games. So he hasn't really missed a lot of games. He's missed some games, and I remember one of those being like a something like that, like you said, like a stomach flu and things like that.
Bro, he threw up in the tunnel.
But for the most part, he's been there, and then he's played when LeBron hasn't been there. And this begs another question, and that can Anthony Davis lead a team to the championship? Could he be that player that is gonna be dependable night to night, and be able to dig deep and do these things that we see from players like Damian Lillard and other players around the league? What do you guys think about that with AD?
He's not. At least right now, he's not.
What you think, Enzo?
Damn. Hold on. Come back to me real quick.
Oh yeah, I mean, as of the way it seems right now, like Anthony Davis doesn't seem to be that player that can be your Batman. You know what I mean? He's gonna need that type of player that's gonna complement him. You know what I mean?
So would you say he's like more of a Robin?
In a sense, he needs a player of his caliber so he can be successful. Is what I'm saying.
He's Scottie Pippen, bro. He needs his Jordan.
I wouldn't even want to put him to that level at some point, because we did see in certain instances when we did win the championship how AD was leading the team in a lot of aspects, and LeBron was right there with him. But I don't know, to put him in a pimping role, I feel what you mean, because at the end of the day, that's the role that it's either Jordan or pimping. So
yeah, exactly. So, but that's at the same time, that's like the LeBron and AD effect. Like LeBron is that Jordan position in the team, and AD is that Scottie Pippen.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so in that aspect of things, it remains to be seen. But as of right now, what we're seeing, and we've had games without LeBron in there, and Anthony Davis was healthy enough to play and to do these, and it doesn't show us that he is that player at the moment, and it sucks because it's like he has the potential on a when being healthy that he can on any night be the best player in the league, two ways, defensively and offensively, because he has those capabilities. And once Enzo comes back, I'll ask him the same question. But But
the other thing that kind of upsets me with the team too is, as soon as LeBron's out, it's like they fall apart.
Oh, I mean, of course, that's the thing. I mean, even back then when Kobe was on the team, he was the one carrying the team, and the moment he stepped out, the team would start to plummet. But my question for you guys, in addition to if Anthony Davis can be, the lead player in a championship team, is let's put this hypothetical out there. Let's take out Giannis out of the Bucks and put Anthony Davis in the Bucks. Do you think Anthony Davis leads that team to win the championship over the Suns last year, given that he's healthy and all these things?
I would say no.
Because that question kind of goes
along
with...
I would say no, man.
Does Anthony Davis lead the team? But at the same time, think about this. Anthony Davis' skill set in certain aspects is superior to Giannis's. For example, his shot. On a healthy Anthony Davis, he's a great two-way player. He can defend.
But this is the only difference that I would that I say. This is the difference that I see in Giannis and Anthony Davis, is that Giannis is not only that, but it's the incline. He's on the incline, and Davis looks like he's on the decline, because Anthony Davis came from Kentucky, came with a lot of hype, came with a lot of notoriety already, and then Giannis came from, I'm a nobody, I'm gonna build myself up, and now he's still building himself up with black Air Forces, killing it in the finals. And Anthony Davis has already reached that, but it just seems like he got comfortable, or if it's, I don't know, I think LA is a lot to handle, yo. It's a lot to take, and not a lot of people can take.
The glamour, the lifestyle, everything.
The media.
It's a lot of the media. I mean, it's a lot to undertake, and it can be that. I mean, I'm praying that this guy turns it around and he finds himself, because I feel like he doesn't. he's hurt right now, so I hope he uses that time to do something like what J. Cole says, meditate and try to find yourself, because he needs to find his shot, his confidence, because he's the anchor on defense, and Dwight Howard and DJ haven't gave us really what we thought they could as a backup centers. So the Lakers really look like a bunch of old vets that they put together that are former stars, that it's just not a good mix.
It's that meshing.
It looks like an antique store.
And it sucks because it's like you traded away a dope ass you traded away a 2018 Camry for a 1997 Porsche.
Mm.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's way different since,
but you didn't know all the issues that the car was gonna bring.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys think Ben Simmons comes to the Lakers then?
See.
It's a possibility. I mean, they would have to do a three-way trade, but then it's like who goes where?
I mean, I've the reason why I even started this thing too with also, like, you know, will the Lakers trade people, because we've seen LeBron do this, you know. I mean, mid-season, especially with the Cavaliers, he straight up got 10 new players, you know, and in that same season ended up making the
talking about the Dwayne Wade
yeah, he traded
squad.
Dwayne Wade and all those guys, yeah, and then he ended up going to the finals that year, I want to say. They made it to the playoffs. He swept basically everybody, and then he got to the Celtics at the end of the conference finals, and I believe they went 7 games or 6 games, something like that. Then he met the Warriors, and I think that's one of the years that they got swept. But obviously that was a little bit of a younger LeBron, but you put the right players around him, because the other name that's being thrown around there is Jeremiah Grant. So, you know, those are 2 players that can score the ball.
But he also comes with his injuries too, even though he is a good player still.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain extent, like that's all gonna come. But I feel like in today's NBA, man, injury cannot mean a damn thing. An injury could just be an excuse for you not to play because you don't want to get injured. And the reason I say that is because you look at a player like Blake Griffin, that, you know, he had a hiatus in Detroit, and, you know, just wasn't what he was at all. And then you go to Brooklyn, and he's just yamming on people again. And it's just like this guy was just waiting patiently for his turn and not going out there to and once you know, you go into the underbelly of the NBA and like agents and all these things, it's a very easy possibility for you know, your agent to get word of that, and it's like, all right, bro, well, sit on the sidelines for a little bit, stay in shape, but this might happen soon, you know. And I just think that in certain aspects, when you have someone like LeBron, Rich Paul, and Rob Pelinka, these guys, things can happen.
That's the other thing. Ben Simmons' agent is Rich Paul.
Yeah, exactly. So that definitely helps them out to go ahead and do something there. And it, like I said, it almost remains to be seen to where it all can land, you know.
Facts.
Yeah, so we'll see how things go with the NBA. I think the next major day would be the trade deadline in February, and we're edging closer to that as we go. But NFL Week 16, man.
Slowly getting close to the end of the season, y'all.
2 more weeks for the NFL season to be over with. The questions that we have for us today and everybody listening is, who will make the wild card? Who's gonna win each conference? You know, we're talking about the AFC and the NFC. And, well, I'll leave this one to the end. But so far, I want to ask Byron.
Yeah.
What's going on, bro?
What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on, man? What do you want to ask me?
Bro, how do the Saints go from shutting down Brady, bro, to today?
I mean, they only allowed, what, 1 touchdown?
Yeah. 2 1 offensive touchdown. The other one was on defense. But to answer your question, Manny, to making excuses, but we had a few, especially two key defensive players that were out in Kewan Alexander and mainly our main captain on defense, which is our linebacker, Demario Davis. He was out. We had like 20 players off on COVID list, so that took a toll.
Are those two first players that you mentioned like injured, or was it COVID as well?
Yeah, it was COVID.
Okay.
So we really got hit with the COVID bug this week, and we did get our coach back, which he wasn't there last week for that Brady game, but other 4 coaches from our staff were hit with the COVID bug. So it's basically, and then we had a rookie quarterback who barely started today. It was his first start in the NFL, so I'm sure he was nervous. He was last minute implemented. He barely had time to practice with the squad, and then especially with the squad they played with today. So it was just a horrible week for us. And then the Dolphins, I gotta give them credit, man. From what I seen, they played what they wanted it more. They played better. They also have room for improvement, but they're on a 6-game winning streak. So I gotta give it to the Dolphins, man. They came in, they shut down the crowd. The crowd wasn't really into it. Well, at least in the third quarter, but just gotta hope for the next two games, man.
Yep, it'd be like that. But just to kind of recap what did happen this week in the NFL, we start off with the Titans beating the Niners, and that kind of puts the Niners in a tough spot because I think the Rams clinched. I don't know if they clinched the division, but I know that they clinched the playoff spot. Let me double check that for us.
I believe you're right.
Real quick right here. Need to check about Manny's team. They clinched the wild card so far. So the Cardinals are right behind them at 10-5, but the Cardinals lost to the what's it called? To the Colts, right?
They lost to the Colts yesterday.
To the Colts, so 22-16.
Yeah, 22-16.
It's 2-game losing streak, I believe, for the Cardinals.
And I think that was a game on Saturday. The other Saturday game was the Browns versus the Packers, and Baker Mayfield threw 4 picks. And it's crazy how they were still in the game, and the game came down to a 22-24 win for the Packers. Right now, Aaron Rodgers is making a strong case for MVP, and he's coming off
Don't
of
they
MVP
have
season.
the best record right now out of all the teams?
I believe.
I think you may be right, Manny. I think they're sitting at 11-3 or 12-3. Right now.
12-3.
12-3, yeah, that's the best because the next team
that's
would
the best
be
record
the Kansas City
in
Chiefs
the
at
whole league.
11-4. So yeah,
Dolphins have a easy ass division.
Who?
The Packers.
Yeah, I mean the only team right now is giving some kind of grief was the Vikings, but even them, they're not as good as they've been in other years.
I don't know if you guys saw, but last week, real quick, just to interrupt. Me and my brother saw a interview. They were doing an interview with to Aaron Rodgers, and they basically asked him if he likes playing for the Packers, and his answer was, "I love playing football."
Who's?
Rodgers.
What did they ask him?
They asked him, "So, do you see yourself playing with the Packers, or do you love playing with the Packers?" And then his answer was like, "I love playing football."
Yeah, I mean he has to be like that right now. I mean they've kind of thrown some shade his way, so I understand. But yeah, just to kind of again continue recapping there, we also had the Broncos losing to the Raiders this week.
What was the score on that one again?
And that one kind of closes the book for us on playoff hopes.
17-13, right?
17-13.
How you feel about that, huh, Mauricio?
Again, bro, it's kind of like the situation the Saints are in. We don't have a quarterback, bro. Can't do shit without a quarterback. He's the one that has the ball in his hands majority of the time when it comes to offense. And even if like we had a competent quarterback that could just make smart plays and all that. And I think Teddy is that, but he keeps getting into concussion protocol and stuff like that.
So would you say his IQ's not there yet? Not there yet, but
Who?
Let me paraphrase. Teddy Bridgewater, would you say his IQ level is not sufficient enough?
I think it is sufficient enough. I think it's just that his health isn't sufficient enough. Boy gets hit and it's just concussion protocol. and it also goes to play the offensive line and things like that. But like I said, it also comes to, is he gonna be our answer going forward? Like it comes down to the point where the Broncos need to draft a good QB out of college and develop them, or even if you go after a developed quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, that his contract is expiring,
or dangerous Russ, he's gonna be free agent next year.
It's like putting a Band-Aid on. It's kind of when we got Peyton Manning. He was good for the years that we had him, but then it left us in
Slump.
We didn't have anything after that. We drafted Paxton Lynch, but nothing happened with him.
So what you're saying is you rather look for a Justin Herbert?
Yeah, for the most part, find someone that's young and has promise, and the thing is that when also you get a college quarterback that has potential, is you don't have to pay him. He's on a rookie deal, so you can spend that money elsewhere on defense, on running backs, wide receivers, all those things,
weapons, coaches,
tight ends, all that stuff, and it makes the team solidified, and that's how teams like the Seahawks were able to have the Legion of Boom, and it was because
they built the infrastructure and developed it.
Not just that, but it was like they had Russell Wilson on a rookie deal, so all of their money was going to the defense and all that stuff. Same thing with Kansas City Chiefs. When Patrick Mahomes won that Super Bowl, he was on a rookie deal. It wasn't until he won one that they gave him the ridiculous contract that he has, and that gives the opportunity as a team to spend in other places and all those things. And the Rams try to do that. They drafted Jared Goff. They had him on a rookie deal, and it was working out for them. They made the Super Bowl, but health was kind of what got in their way because they didn't have a healthy Todd Gurley in that season, and
they were paying them pretty fat too.
Yeah, they weren't able to kind of bounce back, and they paid a lot of players, and now it's kind of biting them in the ass because all their cap is filled out, and on top of that, they also don't have any draft picks kind of coming in the next couple of years. So yeah, that's what we can continue going on. The rest of the games, the Rams beat the Vikings, by the way, and that again clinched their wild card spot at the moment. Hasn't clinched the division yet, but clinches the wild card. What else?
We had the Bills and the Pats, right?
The Bills beat the Pats 33-21.
That's interesting.
I think they're still fighting for first place in that division still, I believe, right?
Yeah, right now they're tied at 9.
Because the Bills were on a losing streak prior to this, right?
Yeah, I think like a 2 to 3 game losing streak.
Actually, they just got back-to-back wins with this one. The Patriots are on a 2-game losing streak actually now. But it's gonna come down to these final games to see who drops one against they're in the division, and that's gonna really determine things. The Ravens lost to the Bengals 41-21. The Texans beat the Chargers 41-29. Speaking about Justin Herbert, that one was a really bad one. After being shut out last week, Tom Brady was able to come back and beat the Panthers 32-6.
And Cam Newton's been horrible, bro.
Yeah, and then the Bears beat the Seahawks. Dangerous Wilson, there's most likely going to be his last season there.
Come to New Orleans, baby.
You know what I'm saying? The Steelers, Big Ben, most likely is going to play his
final game.
Play his final game with the Steelers next week.
Do you think that when they say final, you think it's final career game, or you think he'll probably end up leaving?
I think either way, I think it's gonna for sure be the last time we see him in a Steelers uniform. And I think when you're in a position like Big Ben where you've won a championship before,
just call it quits, bro.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Just call it quits.
I don't think it's worth him going to another team. But who knows? They can still make the playoffs. I think. We're gonna mess around with the playoff machine real quick to check that out. But the Saints, man, tell me about what just happened with them, bro.
Got stopped. COVID, man, messed us up. We tried
real bad.
Tried our best, but the Dolphins, they just got the best of us, and they're on a 7-game winning streak now. Crazy, man. That team started 1-7.
Which team again?
1-7. The Dolphins started 1-7.
They're
now they're at 8-7. That's wild.
Yeah, and then the Cowboys were able to beat the Washington football team as well.
They spanked that team.
And next week they have
The Eagles.
No, next week they have the Cardinals. They end the season against the Eagles, I believe.
Oh man, I need the Eagles to lose, bro.
But yeah, I'm kind of looking at some of the games for next week. We got the Rams placing the Ravens, Broncos, Chargers. The games are gonna be like some that you need to watch and see what's gonna happen. Are the Chiefs versus the Bengals. Chiefs at Bengals, better said. Raiders at Colts.
Raiders.
Cardinals at Cowboys. And then what's another one? That's gonna be a potential. Even the Browns versus the Steelers, that can determine a lot for that division. So let me see if I were to fill out these games right now, because I'm on the ESPN playoff machine. I like to do this sometimes. Green Bay win, Steelers win, Washington football team. So let's say the way that these things go, if, for example, Pittsburgh were to win next week and the Chiefs were to win as well, the Pittsburgh can go into the 7th seed and play the 2nd seed Tennessee Titans. That would also put the New England Patriots versus the Buffalo Bills. But then we would have one more week left. So right now, just to kind of give us an idea, right now the top of the AFC is the Kansas City, and the other side is NFC is Green Bay. This is a question. This is a question for Byron. So a little trivia. Have these two teams ever met in the Super Bowl? Green Bay.
I believe they have. I don't know, and if they have, I don't know what year, but I believe they have.
They met in Super Bowl number 1.
Whoa.
Yep. Green Bay versus Kansas City Chiefs was the first Super Bowl ever played.
The Chiefs
so it'd be crazy to see them come back and rekindle that, if you will. I don't want to say it's a rivalry, but it'd be interesting to see that.
It's historic background to it.
Yeah.
And not only that, it'll be interesting because it'll be the State Farm Bowl.
Oh, and they're both State Farm?
Yeah.
As in Aaron Rodgers and
and Mahomes.
My homies.
Yeah. My homies.
My homies. Now I have another question for both of y'all. Does a quarterback necessarily have to be the MVP in the NFL?
Not necessarily, but for the most part, they tend to give it to the quarterback, or at least in the past recent years, I would say. But no, to answer your question, no, it doesn't necessarily.
Shouldn't have to, right?
Nope.
Because there's a player in the NFL right now that I think he deserves the MVP. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about, Manny. I mean Byron.
Was he a running back?
No, he's actually a wide receiver.
Devontae Adams.
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper
Kupp has been.
He's been balling out this year.
Amazing season, and that's I don't know if the Rams fan in the room is not gonna say anything, but that's a Rams player for y'all.
Because I don't know any players in the Rams.
He's gonna act like that. He knows who Cooper Kupp is though. Because I know that game that you went to go see them play that one time. I'm pretty sure he caught a good amount of touchdowns and all that stuff. But Cooper Kupp, man, damn near perfect this season. I need to see his stats for just to give you guys an idea. But he's really, I think it's him, and there's a defensive player out there. I forget for what team. I want to say it's for the Cowboys, I think. But just.
Is it the cornerback? That's what Diggs?
Think it's him. I'm not too sure if it's him. I need to look it up. But these two players have the potential to be MVPs.
That are non-quarterbacks, right?
Non-quarterbacks. And just to kind of let me see if there's anything here.
Yeah, man. I personally say before to catch up what you're looking for, I would say they shouldn't give it to a quarterback this year, man.
This season alone, he has 1,700 yards.
Cooper Kupp?
132 receptions. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, give it to that
14 touchdowns. That's pretty crazy. And I think there's certain records that he's about to break, and I don't think that necessarily you have to be the quarterback to be the MVP. I mean, the last time that the race was kind of close between two different players, especially between offense and defense, was back in 2015 when Cam Newton was the MVP, but the runner-up was Von Miller. And it's ironic how they also went 1-2 when they got drafted. Cam Newton went 1, Von Miller went 2 to the Broncos, and that's it kind of created not controversy but like a storyline going into that Super Bowl because people thought like the Cam Newton's he's Superman, he's gonna win the Super Bowl, and everybody's counting out the Broncos. I remember that year so hard, and I was like, man, this is no fly zone, and if Cam Newton wants to run, he's gonna get chased down and taken down, and if he chooses to throw, he's gonna get picked off. And he chose to run with the ball, and Von Miller, I feel like at some point took that personal, and went after his ass. And he wasn't the season MVP, but he was the Super Bowl MVP. And there's one thing that I think I want to say Kobe said this at one point because he got snubbed out of being MVP
so many times,
a couple of times, yeah. And it was one of them was twice. Well, basically, you could say it's Steve Nash. They chose Steve Nash over him, and what he said, I don't know. I want to say that it was him exactly who said this, but someone in the NBA said the most important MVP is the one at the end of the season. At the end with
the finals
MVP basically, and Von Miller walked away with that. So I think that at some point that's the more important one. Because I think there was also a season where Steph Curry won MVP, won the finals, but Andre Iguodala was the final MVP. I don't know if that was the same year he won the MVP though. But my point is that you got to show up in all moments, and we're also talking about like MVP. Like at some point you can make the argument that a player like LeBron should be the MVP every year, but for marketing purposes and all that stuff, they give it to other players, and But
well, speaking about MVPs, another person that should have been MVP, in my opinion, not to sound too biased, is Drew Brees. Never won MVP in the regular season, but he won the MVP in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And those are certain things that, certain players may not get MVP, but they have that Super Bowl ring, and they got that Super Bowl MVP. But now we're gonna turn it to
football.
Football
Golazo. Manuel.
Hey, how's it going, you guys? Well,
what's going, bro?
Just a little quick update of what's going on. There's a lot of COVID protocols that we've been talking about through different sports.
Damn COVID.
Man U was on a 3-week
layoff.
Layoff, basically. They played today. They ended up tying. As of right now, this weekend, Man City took over. Well, they separated themselves more. This weekend, they ended up beating Leicester 6-2. So right now, Man City's in first place, Liverpool's in second, Chelsea's in third. Arsenal made a huge comeback from being at the bottom of the table to being fourth place. Tottenham, which was in 10th place, now up in fifth. So teams are bouncing, back, and we'll see what continues going on. And in La Liga, because you guys love the way I say it like that, like a total white boy. In La Liga, we have Real Madrid, who is still 46 points. Second place is at 38 points. Barcelona is in 7th place. Atletico is in 5th place, which is kind of weird for me to see them that low. And you're seeing all these other teams, come up, which is a positive thing, in my opinion, for La Liga.
Yeah.
However, Real Madrid did tie this weekend. So I wonder, is there a winning streak coming down, or, will they be able to continue? And then the Italian league, which is Serie A, we have finally Napoli breaking out. They're 4 points above in first place. You have AC Milan, Napoli, Atalanta, Juventus. But so far right now, Inter Milan is the one that's leading the pack. We'll see what ends up happening. And as soon as we hit January 1st, we're going to have the transfer window open. So once that transfer window opens, we'll end up seeing, who gets sold, who gets, moved around. There's a couple of players that, we might see shift teams. Yep. This is going on.
Interesting.
Let me ask you a question, Manny. What do you feel about your team, Man U, right now?
Oh man, they need a lot of work. I mean, today they look very sloppy, but at the same time, it's been 3 weeks that they haven't played. The other team had been playing, but still, they look very sloppy. I mean, they conceded the goal in the 7th minute. And they got lucky that Cavani was able to score around minute 69. But yeah, no, they looked very sloppy. The other thing that I didn't like, and it kind of sucks, is when you see players like Ronaldo and what's the other guy's name, Bruno, like punk the younger players, like, oh, you guys are not doing your job, like just calling them out in the middle of the pitch and yelling at them.
Oh, within their own team?
Yeah. And I didn't like that personally when I was watching it, because it sends a message as if you're divided, Like it doesn't. Yeah, it's different to like go stand next to one of your teammates and just be like, cover your mouth and tell them something. And but what they did is like they were pointing at them and yelling at them. It's kind of like, yeah, bro, that doesn't look good,
It doesn't, but I think it's all case by case. Like sometimes, especially with these youngsters, bro, like you gotta let them know, they're getting too comfortable and all that stuff, and that if they're not doing stuff on the pitch and whatnot, especially, you're gonna have to let them know, and things are loud there too, so they're gonna have to be a little more assertive than they will, and players like Ronaldo and these guys have been in there, done that, so like their intensity, especially on the pitch, like it's gonna kind of be the same way once they address somebody. They're not. I don't feel like they're gonna dumb it down for nobody in those moments. But I get what you mean. It doesn't look the best, but you gotta be a firm, stern leader sometimes. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes if you don't demonstrate that, people will try to walk over you, or they will try to do what they want. And then that's even a bigger detriment to the team.
I get that part of it that you're saying, but at the same time, like I said, it just doesn't look as good,
Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah,
but as far as club soccer, we still have about another month of it before we go into another international break for the World Cup qualifiers, and that's gonna kind of happen towards the end of January, around the 26th of January. So.
And then we should have the World Cup around June.
No, it's gonna be. Remember, we went over this, Manny.
Oh,
it's gonna be at the end of the year.
Summer. It's because it's in
Qatar.
Yeah,
it's gonna be at the end of the year in 2022. To be exact, I'll give you guys the dates.
Is it because of the weather-wise season?
Yeah, it's weather. It's the weather. But it's not gonna be in summer.
It's gonna be November 21st.
Because usually every World Cup is during summer.
That's
November
facts.
21st to December 17th. So basically a year from now, less than a year from now.
Oh, damn. So at the end of the year.
Yep, November 21st to December 17th.
So, wow.
So it is summer in the Middle East, bro. So Jesus could have been born in there, bro. If you guys want to hear that topic, listen to last week's episode of The Current. But yeah, we're wrapping up the calendar year for sports right now. We're at the end of December of 2021. Last week we were talking about fight of the year, stuff like that for UFC. I chose Kamaru Usman. I believe. Who did you guys choose? Who did you choose?
Charles Oliveira.
And
And then I chose the Brian Ortega versus Volkanovski.
Well, you chose that as a fight. We're talking about who we chose as fighter of the year.
Oh, fighter of the year.
No, Byron also chose Oliveira.
Yeah. As for fight of the year, man, there's so many that we could go towards. But Brian Ortega, that was a good, memorable one.
Even the Chandler and Gagey, bro, that was wild.
That was a good fight too, man. That was a war.
Yeah. Yair Rodriguez versus Max Holloway was a great fight. Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar was a good fight. Dominic Cruz versus, I forgot the guy that he fought before this one. Last one was a good fight.
Dude, that fight of Peter Yan, bro.
Peter Yan with Corey Sandhagen was a good fight.
Yes, where he picked them apart.
Yeah, I mean, but they went the distance, so it was still a good fight, like respectable enough there. Yeah, I mean, there's a good amount of fights this year. The biggest upset, without a doubt, was Juliana Pena finishing Amanda Nunes.
That was shocking.
You know, so
yeah,
you know, we have a lot to look forward to in the new year when it comes to sports, not just the UFC. But you know, I just want to thank everybody that's listening right now, that might be joining us, that might be listening to the podcast a lot another time. You know, we do this because of y'all.
Yo, quick question: what do you guys think about Jake Paul wanting to play football?
Fuck Jake Paul. Jake Paul.
That dude's trying to get into everything that makes him money, bro. He's trying to stay relevant. That's what it is.
Yeah, and especially after what we just saw with Jake Paul, like
and Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, you know, Jake Paul needs to
calm his tits.
Nah, I mean, look, credit to Jake Paul because you know he did what he did and all that stuff, but I just think that him saying he wants to come into MMA and all those things, like at some point the dude's gonna get humbled. I don't see him. You know, he gave his all who he would want to box and all this stuff, and he's talking about all these people. Like the only name on that list was Canelo, and for sure Canelo would whip his ass. I mean, I know Canelo would whip Kamaru Usman's ass on a boxing ring. So it's like, why would you? Who would you make you think that that Jake Paul would have a chance against him? You know, and that's what I think that Kamaru Usman versus Canelo would be an interesting fight to see, just because the crossing of sports and whatnot. But Jake Paul versus any of these guys, like he even mentioned Mike Tyson, I think it's like, bro, come on now, bro. Like I think even Mike Tyson would fucking
rock him.
Hell yeah, bro.
Well, I think we're thinking way too much. I mean,
well, I'm giving the list of the fighters that he gave as of who he would want to fight, and that's why I'm like, I can't take Jake Paul seriously because it's like the only name on that list that's like
a serious contender, you could say.
Yeah, is the only actual boxer he named was Canelo, bro. Like, and again, to me, it's like Canelo will wipe that thing so clean, bro. Like, you know, Canelo's not gonna make none of the mistakes that Tyron made or put his hands down, whether it was intentional or not.
That Tyson is no longer in his prime, because if Tyson was in his prime, oof.
No, I mean even in his prime, even now, I feel like he would still fucking throw his power at him. But yeah, Jake Paul to me is like, I don't even want to speak about it too much because it's like
relevant.
You know, yeah. You know,
I think that fight might happen though.
Which one?
Tyson versus Jake Paul.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it.
But I think it's just gonna be like when Logan fought Mayweather.
Yeah, an exhibition fight.
I mean, even this one with Tyron, bro. I mean, they only fought 8 rounds. They weren't fighting not even 10 rounds, which is what undercard boxing fights usually have. And yeah, I mean, I'm not. Again, I don't want to entertain Jake Paul, so we'll see what he does in 2022.
Ends there.
I'm more interested in, if I'm being honest with you, what happens with fighters like Errol Spence versus Ugas, who's the one who fought Manny Pacquiao. What happens with Terrence Crawford? He'll most likely fight the winner of Ugas versus Errol Spence. You know.
I'm still waiting on that Gervonta versus Ryan Garcia, man.
If that even ever happens, you know, and fights like that is Cambo's what he did to Teofimo, Lomachenko coming back and winning. Like, there's so many things that I feel like boxing has actually has in a sense benefited from these crazy fights. It has from
brought
Jake
more
Paul.
Spotlight. Yeah.
Yes, you know what I mean, because people are like, all right, now I want to see the actual boxing. What's actually going on in boxing? So I'm actually more interested again into these fights. I mean, Ryan Garcia, I think he got injured and he's training again now, so it's gonna be interesting to see what he does next, given that he has all these possible opportunities. But he also has been fighting a lot of like lower ranked fighters, and he's barely started getting into that limelight. So it's interesting right now, man. Common Sports is a really interesting thing.
I mean, I think IG it's made him famous though. Because he's always you know, like, he doesn't do it as often anymore, but he used to post a lot of videos where he would just punch celebrities. You get me?
Before that, it was a speed bag and all that stuff. And yeah, I get you because that's kind of how I found out about Ryan. But
that's how I found out about him. That's what I'm saying. It's like that's how I know his
now
notoriety.
it's gonna.
I don't know his level within boxing, but
boxing, bro. He's an amazing boxer, bro. Like I think that he could stand up with these guys. He just needs to start fighting fighters of higher caliber. But that's how boxing goes. It's kind of like what Sean O'Malley's doing. He's fighting these lower rank guys, and marketing himself properly, and he's gonna get that chance, And even Dana White said that Sean O'Malley and Khamzat are gonna start fighting real competition in the UFC this year. So we'll have to see. But thank you guys very much for joining us today on Sports Wave 60, number 60. I can't believe we've gotten this far deep. We're gonna keep going as much as the Lord permits us. But thank you guys for joining us on Sports Wave 60.
And thank you for joining us for in another special year, man. The last episode.
Episode. Hold up.
Keep tuning in, guys.
To the next episode.
Episode.
Hold